On News Hour tonight, parents, pupils lament FCT teacher strike as action drags into third month.
Please tell me, has there been any revolution without blood? Any revolution without blood is rebellion.
Amaechi charges Nigerians to kick out bad leaders. Living crisis. On the international scene, 4 dead, 30 missing after ferry sinks on way to Indonesia's Bali. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Idris Baturi. Now, it's been over 3 months since primary school teachers in the Federal Capital Territory downed tools and protest over unpaid minimum wage arrears. The strike has brought basic education to a grinding halt, leaving parents and children in a state of uncertainty. Mariam Idris completes the report.
The minister blamed the non-payment of salaries on the area council chairman.
As days roll into weeks and weeks into months, the impact of the strike is being felt across the communities. Some parents have scrambled to find alternative arrangements for their children, enrolling them in private schools. However, not all families can afford this option, hence are left waiting anxiously for the strike to be called off to reduce the long-term impact on their children's education.
We don't have anything because the masses, we don't have money to do that. At even we are having something than what we are doing. We can simply look for the solution to the problem, but we don't have anything. What we have is we rely on the government, that the government will help us to call up us this strike. Even not to look at us. We are an older, but the children are still young. They are just taking their time, wiping their time away from nothing.
Gaskiya ba mu ji daɗi ba. Wannan yajin aikin ya mai da ƴaƴanmu baya sosai.
We feel really bad because this strike is a setback for our kids' academic pursuits. The pupils about to write the common entrance exam cannot write this year because of the strike. They said school would resume last month or in subsequent weeks, but it didn't. My child even dressed up and went to school, only to be sent back by the school security.
Har yaro na ma ya sa inifon ya tafi. Sai mai gadi ya je ya kore shi ya ce mishi wa ga ya maka an koma makaranta. Ba koma makaranta ba sai ya dawo gida.
Wani private ai sai mai kuɗi.
Only well-to-do people can take their kids to private schools. All my life, our kids only attended government schools. We've never experienced what we're experiencing now.
Parents are urging the government to prioritize their children's education by resolving all issues that led to this strike.
Government know what they're supposed to do. They know what they're supposed to do. Please let them do, please. Wallahi, I didn't say I will sorry for them, but wallahi, if my child spoiled, wallahi, their own too will spoil. I'm telling you, wallahi, every day, if I wake up every day, see them in the morning, playing, it's good to know how I'm feeling in my heart.
No, na help school. If the children get the school to go, they're so far. I beg. No, na help. No get money. They carry them go private school. Money no day. They chop food na wahala.
Efforts to get reactions from the teachers proved abortive as they declined comments. However, some of the affected students said they are missing out on crucial learning time, adding that their future is uncertain.
I feel bad about it. My friends are going to school. I am staying at home. I feel bad. They will be laughing at me that I'm sitting at home and I don't know what to do about it.
Me, I'm feeling bad. My friend, they are going to private school. They are laughing on me while I'm sitting at home.
I don't feel well because my friends are in private school and now they are in third time. They are going to write common entrance and leave me.
In the meantime, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has blamed the non-payment of teachers' salaries on area council chairman rather than on the FCTA, stating that he will not be pressurized by the teachers' protest. For now, the government and teachers' union are yet to reach a resolution, so the strike continues as the impact on primary school students remain a major concern. Mariam Idris, Trust TV News.
Now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has ordered the diversion of 6-month internally generated revenue (IGR) from the area councils to offset the unpaid minimum wage arrears owed to primary school teachers. This followed the prolonged strike by the teachers, who had taken to the street on several occasions to draw the FCTA's attention to their plight. Trust TV's Habibat Ajayi has more.
The minister blamed the non-payment of salaries on the area council chairmen rather than the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, stating he would not be swayed by the teachers' protest staged in front of his office.
Let the record be straight. One thing I will not succumb to is blackmail. I will not succumb to it. I will not succumb to it. When people fail to appreciate people who have done something and you fall into the hands of politicians, well, you can do whatever you want to do. Make it clear that FCT is not owing. Area councils are the ones owing. Let Nigerians know that very well. That it's not our responsibility to pay their salaries. It is the middle of area council. However, as a responsible organization of government, we will always intervene and see what we can do.
Wike made the remarks during a resolution meeting involving the 6 area council chairmen, representatives of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAS, FCT chapter, and members of the National Assembly.
After exhaustive deliberation and with the firm intervention of the Honorable Minister, this whole matter has been put to rest. For now, with the Honorable Minister's intervention, the accrued revenue of the councils for the past 6 months we have been collectively agreed will be channeled towards solving this problem. It's not 100%, but for now we have agreed that at least about 70% of the entitlement of what is owed will be sorted out.
Representative of the area councils, along with the NAS FCT president, commended the minister's intervention and appealed to the NUT to suspend the ongoing strike.
Though it then goes to the favor of the area council chairman, because our 6 months IGR have been completely picked to settle this issue. So ours is pleading with the NUT to look at our children with a good faith and call up this strike.
The issue affecting our students, especially the primary school students in FCT. And during our closed-door meeting, we were able to reach an agreement which the NUT president made a proposal of if they can give them 70% of the money. Unfortunately, when they got the calculation of the IGR from January to June, we were able to get 70% of the money they are owing them, which the Honorable Minister said he has seized their IGR, that is the area council chairman IGR, and is giving it to them.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the NUT, after the deliberation, assured the minister that the union would consult its members before deciding whether to call off the strike.
We have been able to have discussions that were centered on the issue that pertains to the teachers of FCT. And in this wise, most of the issues presented to us, we have looked at it and we'll get back to our State Week Exec Council where we are going to take our final decisions.
A special committee has been set up to address other outstanding issues, with a 2-week ultimatum given for further resolutions. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, Zara is renowned for its centuries-old cultural craft and trading traditions. However, these age-long skills are now fast disappearing due to modernization, economic hardship, and declining patronage. In this special report, our crew visited some of Zaria's iconic heritage craft centers, including the ancient Moboga tannery and blacksmith houses, where it was discovered that the traders are struggling to survive amidst rising cost of changing times.
This is Gidamek Era in Zaria, translated as the Blacksmith Center. According to oral history, this blacksmith center was established more than 5 centuries ago. During the pre-colonial era, the ancestors of this family crafted essential wartime tools such as swords, arrows, and spears, as well as farming tools like hoes and knives. Despite inheriting and preserving this craft, the current generation of blacksmiths is finding it difficult to sustain the trade due to the high cost of materials, declining interest from buyers, and lack of government support.
Yanzu shekara 40 da suka wuce zuwa da 80
of iron has skyrocketed due to the economic downturn. 40 years ago, iron was affordable. In fact, we used to get it for free from abandoned vehicles. But that's now history. Tanning or the processing of animal hides and skin is another long-standing trade in Zaria. For generations, tanners have turned hides into cultural items such as traditional shoes, bags, horse saddles, water containers, and even herbal medicine pouches. But today, once thriving tannery centers in the Zazzau Emirate have become deserted due to a lack of patronage and rising production costs.
Our
business has declined drastically even when we buy raw hides and tan them. Customers rarely come to buy. In the past, we had buyers from neighboring countries, and demand was so high we couldn't keep up. Even with several people working, customers used to pay us in advance to prepare tan hides for them. But today, that's no longer the case. The importation of plastic and polythene bags from China has also worsened our situation. This is a trend we inherited from our ancestors, and we are appealing to the government to support and rescue us. The Mobuga is a traditional iron cloth spicer widely used in northern Nigeria. Still enjoys some level of patronage, especially during cultural festivals like the Doba. Despite the introduction of modern electric pressing irons, the craft has survived due to its cultural significance.
Wannan bugu shekara 400 baya ana yin shi. Shekara 400 baya da wuce ana yin shi.
Our forefathers began this trade over 4 centuries ago. For a long time, Zaria and Sokoto were the only places known for making bugu, though Kano joined recently. We still get some patronage, especially during festivities, but the economic hardship has hit us hard. The business is no longer what it used to be, and we are struggling to survive. According to Salmanu, the Mabuga trade has been around for more than 4 centuries, well before modern electric irons became widespread. However, like other traditional trades, Mabuga operators are also feeling the pinch of economic hardship, which threatens their ability to continue. Beyond economic challenges, the artisans also blame the growing influx of imported goods, which they say is contributing to the decline of local heritage industries. Without urgent intervention, Zaria's rich history of craftsmanship could fade into oblivion. From Zaria in Kaduna State, Bello Musa reporting for Trust TV News.
Now, amid the rising and unstable prices of cooking gas in Nigeria, many food vendors in Lagos State are turning to charcoal, which requires cooking over open flames. Most of them lament the soaring cost of gas, describing it as increasingly unaffordable. Victoria Tokolo spoke to some of the affected vendors and has more in this report. Her report is presented from our studio.
With a steady increase in Nigeria's gas output, domestic gas sales have dropped by 10.61% month-on-month, marking the second consecutive decline and sparking concerns about supply to the local market. According to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Nigeria's total gas production rose to 240,165.67 million standard cubic feet over the past 2 months, a 5.18% increase. This growth was driven by both associated gas and non-associated gas, which rose by 4% and 40.5% year-on-year, respectively. However, despite the increase in production, many food vendors and households in Lagos say gas has become too expensive for their daily use. As a result, they are switching to charcoal, which they consider more affordable and cost-effective.
The price of the gas now is 1.2 before, but now it's 1.4 now. It's just increased every day, and we used to use it to cook, to do something, to work, but now some people cannot afford it to buy it. They are using firewood.
Charcoal bag is 12,000 now. So white gas 1 kg is 1.4. So I prefer using charcoal more than gas, because anytime gas can finish, I won't be able to be going to the filling station to go and do it anytime that you are cooking. So you have to get part of it. But the two is good, but charcoal is more than gas.
If you buy gas, I don't have money to buy gas now. Charcoal do I dey use? So I buy charcoal 300 naira a day, because I know they use ordinary water bath. Now hot water I don't get rheumatism. I know they use ordinary water. To buy gas, I don't get money to buy gas.
Gas now is very expensive for like the average Nigerians that cannot afford it now. They want to go back to charcoal or even kerosene. So the other option for them to use is for them to go back to charcoal, the locally made charcoal, and be using it.
The prices of gas is so exorbitant for people, some people nowadays, right? And they prepare to go into charcoal. If you don't use the charcoal, charcoal is more safer than the gas in terms of carelessness. You can easily deal with charcoal easily, but gas is very desperate to manage. So many people choose to go on charcoal, safer than gas.
In the past 2 months, research shows that the average cost of refilling a 5 kg LPG cylinder rose by 7.69% to 7,885.60 naira, while a 12.5 kg cylinder increased by nearly 10% to 20,268.06 naira. Food vendors in Lagos are now appealing to the federal government to intervene and reduce fuel prices, which they say is a major factor driving up the cost of gas and other essential goods in the country.
An unusual invasion of rats has wreaked havoc on farmlands in Mutumbiu Chiefdom of Gaso local government area in Taraba State. Farmers in the area say thousands of rats have destroyed newly planted seeds, making farming almost impossible this season. This development has forced many of them to replant, incurring huge costs, while others have abandoned their farms altogether. The report.
Farmers in Mutumbiu are currently battling a large-scale invasion of rats which have attacked and destroyed seeds across multiple farms, including that of Chief of Mutumbiu, Sani Suleiman Kachalla. The farmers says the rodent ate up the seed overnight, making it difficult for crops to germinate. One of the affected farmers, Misa Lawal, says he has had to plant his seed 3 times due to continuous destruction by the rats. Our crops are not growing well, as you can see, because of the rats infestation. Whenever we plant maize seeds, the rats dig them up and eat them. Many farmers have abandoned their farms and gone home. We are pleading with the government to please intervene in this situation. These rats have disrupted everything in our farms. We can't plant because they ate up all the seeds. We are pleading with the government to help and intervene. We have to invite TV hunters who eat and sell rats to help us hunt them in our farms. In my friend's farm, the hunter succeeded in chasing the rats away, and he was finally able to plant. But even at that, the rats ate more than a bag of maize seeds out of the 3 bags planted. We have never seen anything like this before. The government must act and do the needful to support us. Another farmer, Ahmadu Musa, narrates how he planted 100 kg of maize on different occasions, only for the rats to consume the seed each time. It was only during the third time that he saw sign of germination. To tackle the menace, the farmer says they hired professional rat hunters who are now catching hundreds of rats daily. We are facing a very serious problem with these rats. The more we plant it, the more they come and eat everything. These are large, black-looking rats, and there are also many to count. They usually come out at night when farmers have gone home. This is the first time we are experiencing such a thing. We believe it is a test from Almighty God, but we need government to come to our aid. No confirmed that hunters are making progress, catching hundreds of rats across different farms, which is gradually reducing the infestation. Interestingly, some of the rat hunters say they are also selling the rat for as much as 500 naira each. According to Austin Dani and Janet Moses, they catch between 10 to 15 rats per hole and have found farms with over 1,000 rats on site. I base in Dogonkura, where we catch rats in farmlands. In some farms, these rats ate almost every maize seed. Even after crops begin to grow, they chew through the stem and destroy the seedlings. So we hunt them, fry them, sell them, and even eat them. We sell each rat for 500 naira. I personally sell almost a bucket of rats per day.
We dig into holes and pull out the rats. In some holes, we catch between 10 to 15 rats. We sell each one for 500 naira in the local markets.
The chief of Mutumbi, whose own farm was not spared, raised serious concern about the growing threat, warning that beyond the impact of food production, the situation could trigger a Lassa fever outbreak if not quickly addressed.
The government should try to find out how it can overcome this. One funny thing is, they said this Lassa fever is a byproduct from rats. And now we're having rats. I'm reporting it to the necessary government authority. Unless something is done.
The chief and affected farmers are now calling on the Taraba state government to urgently intervene and provide support to control the rat infestation before it escalates further.
Now, integrated cattle rearers in Bauchi communities have appealed to authorities to consider their plight and support them as the government plans to establish ranches for livestock development across the state. They made their appeal while speaking with Trust TV on the government's renewed efforts to improve the livestock sector for economic sustainability. Trust TV's Adamu Imam has the details.
Malam Ishaq Kobi is one of the local livestock developers who has established an integrated cattle ranch aimed at reducing the challenges faced by customers, especially during festive seasons. He explained that despite their efforts, they continue to face several setbacks, particularly during the rainy season, forcing them to seek alternative means to keep their livestock alive. Honestly, establishing a ranch is not easy. The government must step in and provide support in every possible way. Those of us already making efforts in that direction should be recognized and assisted. During Salah festivities, for example, we make good sales here as people come looking for affordable animals. That's why we are appealing to the government to support us small-scale ranches within the community, because ranching holds great potential for job creation. The challenges we face are many. Sometimes we are forced to leave the ranch to look for alternative ways to keep the animals. The cost of animal feed keeps rising every day. And to make matter worse, farmlands are spreading everywhere, taking up the grazing areas. All we ask for is peace. That's our biggest challenge. In response, the Bauchi State Ministry of Livestock Development says it is working to establish modern ranches across the state to create economic opportunities for Fulani herders and other pastoralists.
So it's going to be established. We have provided 200 hectares of land for that project in Galambi Ranching Company, and it's a project that is a performance-based project. So the government is discussing, the World Bank is discussing, we are waiting for the last lap of the World Bank to tell us, yes, they have agreed. So they have brought their prototype design, the government appraise it, and then we'll send it back to them.
The commissioner added that educating stakeholders in the sector is a top priority before the full establishment of the ranches in order to prevent misunderstanding and ensure peace and stability in the communities. Adami Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, a former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amaechi, has said that the only way to stop President Bola Tinubu from returning to power in 2027 is for citizens to take their fate into their own hands. According to him, Nigerians cannot achieve meaningful change through wishful thinking. Amaechi spoke on Thursday at the public presentation of the 2025 Nigeria Social Cohesion Survey report by the Africa Polling Institute in Abuja. Amaechi criticized the citizens for grumbling in private while remaining passive in the face of what he described as elite domination. He also cited examples of countries like Bangladesh, Peru, and Kenya, where mass protests forced unpopular leaders out of office.
The elites of Nigeria are not a problem of Nigeria. We are not up to 20,000 elites that are stealing Nigerian money. Okay, no problem. 100,000 elites. But you have 200 million Nigerians that can fight 100,000 men. And then you sit down in your house and you're complaining and grumbling. What makes you think that the elites will remove their hands from the ceiling? If all you do is sit down in your house and grumble and organize one small lecture on how you're feeling. Who told you the elites don't know how you're feeling? They know how you're feeling. They know you're not happy. If they don't know, you will not see them in their girlfriend's house after 6 p.m. You know why? Because they are running away from you. They are scared. But you are helpless, not because the elites want you to be helpless. You are helpless because you make yourself what? Helpless. So why are we gathering here? What survey? No matter the survey you bring out today, the elites already know that. Please tell me, has there been any revolution without blood? Any revolution without blood is rebellion.
Now, the acting national chairman of Labour Party, Nigerian Usman, says the party has approved the move by its 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi to join an opposition coalition led by David Mark. In a statement on Thursday, Usman slammed Julius Abure-led group within the Labour Party as political jesters with no legitimate standing in Labour Party. Usman, through her aide Ken Asogwa, stressed that Abure and those behind the 48 hours ultimatum issued to Obi to resign are neither recognized by the party nor by the law, having long been sacked by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, the highest court in the land, and suspended from the party for their serial act of indiscipline and anti-party activities. She explained that the party had given its blessings to Obi to participate in the coalition talks. Now, earlier, the Julius Abure-led faction of the Labour Party has given Peter Obi a 48-hour ultimatum to leave the party after he joined the coalition. This was contained in a statement signed by the faction's National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, in Abuja on Thursday. Ifo explained that the Labour Party under Abure's leadership remains vehemently opposed to joining the coalition, while dismissing members of the coalition as power mongers whose only interest was self and not the people. The party warned Nigerians that the often mouthed new Nigeria is possible is a ruse and cannot be achieved with the assemblage of old, recycled, desperate and frustrated politicians in the coalition. Ifo said the party is aware that all those who mismanaged Nigeria over the years are the ones that gathered themselves in the coalition, while noting that desperate politicians can't birth a new Nigeria. The presidency has blasted former President Muhammadu Buhari's appointees who have aligned with the new opposition coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections, accusing them of betrayal, personal ambition, and lack of ideology. In a post on X late Wednesday, Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Media and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, warned Nigerians against trusting the new coalition, describing it as a group of desperados driven only by hatred for President Tinubu. Onanuga especially called out prominent former officials, including ex-Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amaechi, former Attorney General Abubakar Malami, ex-Aviation Minister Hadi Sirika, and former Interior Minister Rauf Aregbesola, all of whom have reportedly joined the African Democratic Congress ADC. He accused Amaechi of losing interest in the All Progressives Congress APC after failing to secure the party's presidential ticket in 2022, and Malami of distancing himself from the ruling party following his failed governorship bid in Kebbi State. The statement also highlighted the growing influence of New Opposition Alliance, which recently adopted the ADC as its political platform after months of consultations. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nyesom Wike, has warned the newly formed opposition coalition to stop using Nigerians for their personal affairs. Wike stated this during his monthly media parley at his official residence in Abuja on Thursday. According to him, the recent coalition by some political figures who adopted the African Democratic Party ADC as their political platform was not in the interest of Nigerians. Wike also declared that he won't disclose details of the recent truce brokered between him and suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, saying that the most important thing is that peace has returned to the state.
Those of you who hear where tongues are wagging, I have never had, I don't owe anybody any explanation how peace was achieved. What's important is that peace. Yes. Do you like peace? Yes. So what are you going to benefit from how the peace was achieved? The most important thing is, do you have peace? Yes. At what cost? What cost?
Perhaps you could help this.
Did he tell you that? Did he tell you that?
That's what we're seeking.
No, you cannot say, I'm not going to run election. So if you say that was the decision, then he should be able to be the one to tell you.
This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Delta community goes spiritual, invokes deities to curb insecurity. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Parent pupils lament FCT teachers strike as action drags into third month. And Rotimi Amaechi charges Nigerians to kick out bad leaders. Now moving on to more stories, in a bid to enhance peace and security, the Asaba community in the Delta State capital has taken an unconventional approach to tackling drug abuse, cultism, and related crimes. The community recently held an Isu Ofo ceremony where different deities were invoked to place curse on evildoers and criminal elements. Trust TV's Jonathan Awanyai completes the report.
The ceremony, supervised by the Odogu of Asaba and other notable traditional leaders, aimed to deter criminally minded individuals from compromising the peace and security in the land. The Asaba of Asaba, Professor Epiphany Azenge, warned drug peddlers and cultists to retrace their steps or face the consequences. So much has happened to us that we are not happy about in Asaba.
And also, if also udo na benyi na nugo ka isi kwe asim no pulso na udo ka idebe na haba no zgolanyi.
If it is only peace we will have here in Asaba, that is enough. The benefits of peace are numerous. We must not joke with it. The chairman of Oshimili South Local Government Council, Dr. Obi Kelvin Ezeili, who was present at the event, promised to support the King's initiatives aimed at enhancing peace, security, and development in Asaba. The council plans to provide an office accommodation for the NDLEA to aid in the fight against drug peddling.
The rest of the communities in the local government must endeavor to follow your step. This step is step for betterment. More. Every initiative that has to do with us, benchmarking and checkmating insecurity in Chimele South, consider the local government in 100% support.
The Odogu of Asaba emphasized that the Isuofo ceremony was for the good of the community and that drug peddlers will be closely monitored and their underground routes blocked.
In partnership. It's not as if we don't have ours, and but to make it more solid, we have to invite not just from across, from Owa, from Obolo, Udena Alero, and Ogugwa Bedo, in conjunction with other deities. This time around we're not playing. It's a war against the cult, not just cultists. Yeah, lest I forget, not just cultists. It's a war against kidnappers, yes, cultists and sponsors of cultism, yeah, and drug peddlers. Drug peddlers, not victims. Drug peddlers, because drug is the motivating factor in all these crimes, yes, is the motivating factor. And all over Asaba is littered with these drug outlets. And we've tried our best, we've worked, to use force and all that. But they seem to be working with some forces or whatever. But this time around, I want to lay courses on those drug peddlers.
The community said a rehabilitation program would also be put in place to reintegrate victims into the society. Jonathan Awanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
Some youth groups in Rivers State under the auspices of the Coalition of Rivers State Youth Bodies, CORIB, has taken to the street of Port Harcourt to protest the growing wave of insecurity allegedly perpetrated by Fulani herdsmen in their communities. The demonstrators are calling for urgent government intervention to halt the killings and enforce anti-open grazing laws. The reports.
The protesting Ogoni youths stormed the streets of Port Harcourt carrying placards with inscriptions such as "Police, intervene for Ogoni people," enforce the ban on open grazing in Rivers State, stop killing Ogonis. The protesters marched to the police headquarters where the leader and chairman of Coalition of Rivers Youth Bodies, Imiebe Saviour Oscar, addressed the Commissioner of Police Olubenga Adepoju and the Director of the DSS. Oscar, who expressed frustration over the continuous attacks by Fulani herdsmen, stated that the Ogonis are tired of the incessant killings of their kinsmen and women and demanded immediate government action to protect lives and property.
Immediately, we demand the immediate, unconditional departure of all Fulani herdsmen from Ogoni land. Yes, that continual presence pose a grave threat to the peace and security of our people. Yes. Now we call on the relevant authorities to take swift, decisive action.
Adding his voice, the spokesman of the coalition, Tamuno Belema, declared solidarity with the Ogoni people, saying an injury to one is an injury to all.
I am from Okrika, but in a solidarity of oneness that says injury to one is injury to what? All. Injury to one. Injury to all. Today is happening to the Ogonis. Who know if we not hold this menace to ground, tomorrow it might be my own community. Of course. Tomorrow it might be in Kwere. Of course. Next tomorrow it might be a Shea. And the security agents keep on telling that we should go and dialogue with these people. Unacceptable.
In response, DCP Alhassan Kawu, speaking on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, assured the protesters that their grievances would be promptly addressed. He reiterated the police's commitment to tackling insecurity in Rivers State.
I am very sure, and I assure you, that you will never joke with your request, and I am sure he's going to take a very drastic decision on this and ensure that this menace come to an end. I will not be able to say much, but your messages will be delivered to him, and he is going to act positively on them.
There is operation going in at Agbonchia Forest. As I am talking to you, this operation is still against the killers in Rivers State. So what I'm trying to say is that the CP is making frantic effort to ensure that we nip this problem on board. It's a social device, it's a menace which must be nipped on board.
Before dispersing, the protesters submitted a formal letter detailing their demands to the authorities.
As part of effort to achieve food security across the nation, the Adamawa state government has officially launched the distribution of agricultural input for the cultivation of 300 hectares of land for beneficiaries across the state. 6 local government areas have been chosen for the pilot project, with plans to expand it to other areas later. Trust TV's Gibson Soadigu reports.
The flag-off ceremony took place at the pilot farm site in Ganigaku, located in Demsa local government area, where each beneficiary was assigned 1 hectare of land to manage and nurture until harvest. The selected local government areas include Ganyi, Demsa, Maiha, Hong, Michika, and Madagali. The distributed inputs consist of drought-resistant and early maturing seeds, fertilizers, and agrochemicals, among other supplies. The Commissioner of Agri, David Finchua Jatau, explained that the initiative aims to address food insecurity, enhance the economic viability of the state, engage youth meaningfully, and combat unemployment.
Apart from the 300 hectares farm, hundreds and thousands of youth in the state have participated in the administration's welfare packages like the PAWECA and the ongoing construction projects, including the vocational and technical skills training centers, which is meant for the youth too.
Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Murfintri noted that 300 hectares per local government pilot scheme is the government's well-thought-out response to combating food insecurity. He said the campaign entails targeted sensitization for green life and the need to cultivate to the minimum what every household requires to eat and perhaps make wealth from.
I must therefore encourage our young men and women to embrace agriculture. We are committed to making farming attractive and a viable means of wealth creation for all. Through various initiatives and support systems, we are ensuring that agriculture is seen not just as a profession, but as a gateway to economic empowerment and sustainability. We have the resources to turn agricultural sector into a powerhouse of production and innovation. As I often say, with agriculture, we are too rich to be poor. We have fertile lands, skilled farmers, and government that is willing to invest heavily in the future of its people.
Before the launch, the Minister of Agriculture visited several local government areas and assigned 300 hectares of farmland to contractors for clearing and ploughing. Gibson Soadgu, Trust TV News, Yola.
Now, the House of Representatives is pushing for a stronger voice for local government in national finance discussions. In a motion led by Representative Shehu Rijau from Niger State, the House passed a resolution to include the President of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, as a statutory member of the Federation Account Allocation Committee, or FAC. The report.
The motion references Section 162, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution, which mandates direct allocation to local governments as federating units.
Also aware that the Supreme Court has also pronounced to the effect that paying the local government through their state of the federation has not worked. Therefore, justice demands that local government area council allocation from the federation account should henceforth be fed directly to the local government council.
You cannot amend a basic constitutional provision regarding those who can participate in FAC through a motion. So with all due respect, my dear friend, I think that this motion, in my view, in my very humble view, we need to take a second look at it.
What we are talking, and my position, Mr. Speaker, sir, is it will be very unwieldy asking 774 council chairmen to converge on Abuja for fact and sharing. They have their ALGON. I would have preferred if this can be amended, which is the representatives.
But on the content of this motion, Mr. Speaker, the motion does not seek to amend a constitutional provision. What the motion draws attention to is the fact that by the recent pronouncement of the Supreme Court, a particular section of an act of parliament, not the Constitution,
has been rendered nugatory.
Meanwhile, 7 lawmakers from the People's Democratic Party and the Young Progressives Party defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress. The defectors cited unresolved leadership disputes, particularly the tussle over the PDP's National Secretary position, as grounds for their exit. The minority leader urged the House to uphold the Constitution and prior Supreme Court rulings when evaluating the legality of the defections.
The escalating internal crisis in the PDP, especially regarding the office of the National Secretary, where some party officials currently lay claim to, and other irreconcilable differences, have caused me to review my membership of the party.
Let me start by saying that, indeed, we have been seeing defections on the floor of the House, but I feel very sad this morning. Very, very sad, not just for the defection, but sad for the democracy that we are practicing today.
The House of Representatives has, in the meantime, condemned the deadly attack in Obochi community of Anambra State and the deepening crisis of food insecurity across the country. In the attack, at least 10 people were killed. The victims, members of the Ebonyi Union, were attending a routine gathering when unknown gunmen stormed the scene. Representative Chinwe Clara Nnabuife, who represents Orumba North South Federal Constituency, says early findings suggest the violence may have stemmed from an internal leadership dispute within the group.
The incident appears to have stemmed from an internal leadership dispute within the Ebonyi Union in Oboji. Credible reports suggest that the conflict regrettably escalated and allegedly involved the invitation of external armed elements.
According to survivor accounts and security sources, one faction allegedly invited armed outsiders, triggering the deadly confrontation. Investigations are ongoing, but calls for justice are growing louder.
I now call on all relevant agencies, including the Nigerian Police Force, Department of State Services, DSS, and the Anambra and the Ebonyi state governments to launch a full-scale, transparent, and impartial investigation into this heinous act.
Before adjourning plenary to July 15 to host the annual Open NAS Citizens Engagement next week, the House urged President Tinubu to expand the Nigeria Police Academy into a multi-campus institution.
Now, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has advised Nigeria to adapt its 2025 budget to lower oil prices and scale up cash transfers to shield the most vulnerable part of its population. It is just released Article 4 assessment of Nigeria's economic policies. The IMF said economic growth had been steady but too low in per capita terms, with inflation remaining high. The fund predicted that the country's economy would expand at 3.4% this year and 3.2% in 2026. The complex outlook made it more important than ever for policymakers to build and maintain buffers while being nimble and ready to respond to shocks or seize opportunities. The fund's advice followed President Bola Tinubu's directive to oil and gas operators in the country to revive dormant oil fields to boost crude oil production and revenue. The directive was conveyed to oil and gas operators by the Minister of State Petroleum Resources Oil Henikin Lakpobiri on Tuesday at the ongoing 2025 Nigeria Oil and Gas Energy Week in Abuja. Now, away from Nigeria, at least 4 people have been reported dead and dozens others unaccounted for after a ferry sank in rough seas on its way to Indonesian resort island Bali on Thursday. According to rescue authorities, 31 survivors had been plucked from this water so far. Rescuers were racing to find 30 people still missing at sea after the vessel carrying 86 passengers and crew sank before midnight on Wednesday as it sailed to the popular holiday destination from Indonesia's main island Java. Indonesia's National Search and Rescue Agency Chief Muhammad Siafi told a news conference on Thursday that 31 survivors had been found. President Prabowo Subianto, who was on a trip to Saudi Arabia, ordered an immediate emergency response. Cabinet Secretary Teddy Indira Wijaya said in a statement, adding that the cause of the accident was bad weather. And it's now time for Sport Update with Joseph Peter.
In a bid to host the 2026 edition of the National Youth Games, Lagos State has formally submitted its bid, signaling its ambition to bring the prestigious event to Nigeria's most populous and economically vibrant city. The expression of interest was officially signed by the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, underscoring the state's commitment to youth development and sport excellence. The Lagos delegation noted that with Lagos being Nigeria's foremost economic and cultural epic center, the state is committed to fostering sporting excellence and nurturing youth talent across the nation, as they further emphasize Lagos State's proven track record in organizing major sporting events. The bid document was submitted on behalf of the Lagos State government by a high-powered delegation led by Director General of the Lagos State Sports Commission, LSSC, Lekan Fatodu. Other members of the delegation included Nunayon Olumide Travi, Director of Sport, LSSC, Oluyomi Oluwashami, Director of School Sport, LSSC, and Dare Orimoloye, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Sport. Team Delta emerged champions of the last edition in 2024. The state won 46 gold, 31 silver, and 34 bronze, totaling 111 medals, and was announced as champions at the closing ceremony held at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba, Delta State. The National Youth Games (NYG) is a multi-sport event designed to discover and develop young talented athletes. It serves as a platform for identifying potential athletes who can represent Nigeria in national and international competitions. That's Sport News. I'm Joseph Peter.
Now, before we go, and on a sad note, a former Super Eagles goalkeeper, Peter Rufai, is dead. He was 61 years old. The Super Eagles, in a post on X, said mourned the passing of legendary Super Eagles goalkeeper, whom it describes as a giant of Nigerian football and a 1994 AFCON champion. The legendary shot-stopper died on Thursday after an illness. Nicknamed Dodombayana, Rufai was part of the Super Eagles team that won the 1994 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON. And with that, we have come to the end of the News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Idris Daye Baturi, thanking you for being with us.